we're here at the press conference for Lee Wood's huge world title fight this weekend against Michael Conlan, joined by Lee's trainer, Ben Davison. Ben, how excited are you to get back into another world title fight this weekend?
Yeah, of course, you know, they come thick and fast, so yeah, excited for this one. Absolutely delighted for Lee Wood to have the opportunity to defend his title in front of his home crowd in Nottingham. A dream of his since a young boy, since he started, so yeah, over the moon.
Talk us through the journey that Lee's been on with you by his side. It's been an incredible story, going from no man's land really to be in a situation now headlining in Nottingham with a world title around his waist.
Yeah, you know, look, Lee wasn't expected to be here, you know. He's been on a fantastic run, but he's an absolute role model, a brilliant student, and just a brilliant human being, you know. It's been an absolute pleasure to help him along his way. I know he credits me a hell of a lot, but you know, another fighter that I've worked with, Billy Joe Saunders, also used to train alongside Lee Wood elsewhere as well. And I remember him telling me once that Lee Wood trained for about 2 years with no fight, as though he had a fight in the next 2 weeks. And those things and that professionalism is the reason why he's here today.
What do you make of Michael Conlan as a fighter? We know what he did as an amateur, but I think we're still waiting to see what sort of pro he's going to be.
Yeah, he's a versatile fighter, many different areas to his game. So of course, you know, means a lot of preparation and adjustments throughout the fight, of course, but he's a good solid fighter, of course.
You see it as a 50-50 fight?
Yeah, look, the reality is Mick's the slight betting favourite. You know, there was adjustments to his fight week in his last fight, making an adjustment to what weight the fight was at and a title that was on the line, because they looked at Lee and thought that Lee was an easy option for them to try and grab a world title at. And you know, Mick's supposed to be the one that's come in and swooped the title, and Mick was expected to be. He was supposed to be here, but reminds me of the Can-Do fight. You know, most people didn't expect Lee to come away with that victory, and to be able to do it in the manner that he done, and that we know that Lee's carries a lot of power, and the sort of opinion of if Lee's going to win, it's going to be by knockout. But you know, I don't see it that way.
We've got to talk about what happened in Glasgow a couple of weeks ago. I mean, firstly, were you as a team able to enjoy the success? We know the fallout rumbles on to this day, but as a team, were you able to actually enjoy what Josh Taylor achieved?
No, of course not. Of course not, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's the way of the world these days.
In the last few minutes, the British Boxing Board of Control have now downgraded Ian John Lewis from an A-star judge to an A judge. What do you make of that?
I think that the board had to be seen to do something. I just think that if you picked 4 random people and said, can you come to your conclusion and score the fight, whatever that conclusion may be, how they got to that conclusion, how they got to that score will vary. Which rounds they gave who, etc., etc. That just suggests that the fight was a hard fight to score. Make no bones about it, it was a close fight. Potentially could have gone either way, of course, but you know, I just think that the reaction, the way people have behaved, and the social media, this social media stuff's got to stop. It's got to stop, because we've seen too many people along the way take their own lives, celebrities, and this kind of thing where people just feel like they can go on social media and say whatever they want. You know, there's too many people taking their own lives with depression and things like this, especially young people and especially people that's in the spotlight, and this has got to stop. I haven't got the answer, but it has to stop.
Well said, Ben. What do you think will be next for Josh? I know he's having his wedding, which is far more important to him than boxing, and then looking to get out again maybe in autumn. Will you look to work with him again, potentially at a different weight?
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm not going to make decisions for Josh. He'll speak to his advisor and see what plans lay ahead. Of course, you know, the rematch with Jack Catterall at any weight with title or non-title on the line is a massive fight, a massive lucrative fight, a huge pay-per-view fight here in the UK. So there's options there, you know. Jack may say, do you know what, I want to fight for one of the vacant belts if Josh does move up. So there's options. We'll have to just have to wait and see.
We know in the last few days AJ's made a decision on his main trainer. He's going to work with Angel Fernandez, who's been in his camp for a long time, but not as the main trainer. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just think this. Every Tom, Dick and Harry's got an opinion, of course, and they share that opinion. But As you say, Joshua's worked with Angel Fernandez for a while now. He feels that that's the right decision for him. So why would anybody know any better? I feel like he needs to be allowed. He's gone and seen and worked with many different coaches over the past 6 months or whatever it's been. And if that's the conclusion he's come to, then that's for a reason. You know, he must have faith, must feel like he understands, and must feel like the quality of what he's getting and what he needs is ideal for the next step in his career. So fair play to him and fair play to Angel Fernandez.
I've not spoken to you since the press conference last week for Fury v White. No White. What did you make of that? Because Tyson stole the show with his performance, but of course Dillian absent.
Yeah, I don't know really. I think that White will probably feel like it's a way of getting back in the head of Tyson, and Tyson will feel like he's won the battle by White not turning up. So the problem is with this is if you care too much about what happens leading up to the fight, then yes, there can be an advantage and a disadvantage. But if you're just focused on what happens when you get in the ring and that's the focus, then that's all that really matters.
I'm sure you'll be asked this question 100 times before the fight. Break it down for me. What do you think happens when Tyson Fury steps in the ring? Hopefully Dillian White will be there on the 23rd of April.
It's hard to say because I don't know how Tyson's going to approach the fight. I've seen him say that, you know, he feels like the Kronk style is not the right style for this fight, and you know, he's going to make some adjustments, etc. So we'll have to see. I think that if Tyson goes looking for a knockout, it becomes a more entertaining, and you know, he's walking a little bit of a tightrope to a degree. Dillian White's good counter puncher. And carries power, of course. But of course, we know that the boxing ability of Tyson and his agility and coordination for a heavyweight is what separates him with a lot of the other heavyweights. So we'll have to wait and see how he approaches the fight.